Good afternoon. Welcome to the Sunday Spin. I'm Vinny G, live from my brand new palatial studios here in the 6-4. It's good to be home. With me as always this Sunday, I have my man Greno. Greno, how are you this afternoon?
Doing great from the basement confines of Colorado Springs. We're rocking out on a Sunday. It's actually a nice day here. And man, we're so stoked to have our musical soulmate aboard, Mr. Collin Estes. Collin, how are you doing today, my brother?
Hello, gentlemen. Thank you for having me on. I'm doing great. Thank you.
It's our pleasure, Collin. It's great to have you here. And again, props on the shirt.
Oh, thank you.
Let's take a look at that Kate Bush shirt.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah. Very nice. How are you this afternoon?
What's that? Say again.
How are you this afternoon, sir?
I'm doing great. Thank you. Just chilling. Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening, All Saints Day. Done next to nothing today, which is how I like to do a Sunday. So
thanks for keeping with the 4 eyes theme. We got 12 eyes today. We've been doing that on a lot of shows, huh, Vinny?
Yeah, best of the zombies, right?
Telling you, man. Absolutely. Exactly.
Yeah,
and all similar styles, too. Right, man?
Yeah. I'm glad I got the memo before I came on. That's very
good. Just real quick, we want to give a shout out to our sponsors, What's Left Records. Going through a hard time right now. So anything that you guys can do, thoughts, prayers, anything, just good thoughts towards our friends over at What's Left Records. Going through a hard time right now. Hopefully they'll be reopening soon. But we're thinking about them and we love them and we always support what they're doing with local music and just the whole. The Ostra brothers work so hard for the scene, as you guys both know. So we just want everything to turn out for the best, for everybody to get well and to move forward on a positive note. And then,
Amen.
Of course, our sexy, sexy friend in San Francisco, California, the one, the only incomparable KFC, and no, not your boy in Kentucky, Kevin frickin' Chanel. And I almost threw that F-bomb. Last night I did, my first one. But yeah, we want to give a shout out to Grooves Records as well. Always, I don't know if they're back open yet. We're going to have to find that out. If so, please go see them. If not, they definitely have a Discogs site and a website that you can check out. But man, let's get down to some meat and potatoes with this man right here, Mr. Collin Estes. So dude, like Anonymous Collective, which is our label, all three of us here. We make this music also with a guy named Brock, Mr. Brock Lee Smith. But you just released a new album.
I did.
Everybody is talking. It's the talk of the town, as Chrissy Hynde would say. So, let's get into it a little bit about it. How did this come about? And this is your third record, correct?
Yeah. It's either third. I mean, I think of it as my third album. My second album was like a double album, which was in retrospect really disgustingly audacious move to pull. But so that sometimes depends on the day. Sometimes that feels like two different albums. Sometimes it feels like a cohesive thing. But yeah, I would say third album, this one. And as far as how it came about, usually they kind of come to me in pieces. Like, I don't think I've ever sat down and thought, well, with the exception of that first record, which we heard a little snippet of, that one I kind of had a concept in mind before I started writing it. The rest of them, it's just like, I haven't done anything. I guess I should record a song. I should put out a single and resume being lazy for the rest of the year. And then next thing I know, I'm having fun making music. What's that about? And end up with 1 or 2 albums on my hands. So yeah. And this was kind of the same way. I had an older song that I wanted to get a decent recording of, which was 3 Hands High. It's the first track on this new album. Just wanted to get a nice sounding recording of it, and it was an enjoyable experience to record that, and I just kind of got on a roll. And this one felt like the album kind of revealed itself more so than I sat down and wrote it or like brought it into being. It felt like it wanted to exist, you know?
Absolutely.
What a beautiful way to put it, too. A song that wanted to exist, a theme that wanted to exist.
Yeah.
You know, you're not always the instigator. Sometimes it comes to you. And to think of it outside the box like that says a lot about your creative drive and instinct, Collin, something I've always been very impressed with, frankly.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
With all my guests, I always like to start at the beginning, you know, pre-musician, pre-recording artist. What are your earliest musical memories? Not necessarily playing an instrument. Was music played in your house? Was there an inspiration for you to follow this kind of path?
Yeah, it's. I'm glad I prepared my show and tell for this because as a matter of fact, yeah, there was a lot of music in my house growing up. Neither of my parents are really musicians. My mom played keyboards a little bit. I remember her playing piano a little bit when I was very young, but mostly just lovers of music, listen to music all the time. And my earliest memory of music actually is I have both a CD and an LP. So if you can see this, this is Bach's Greatest Hits Volume 2, which is a weird kind of thing, artifact to present and kind of innocuous sounding, but this has some of the best performances on it in my estimation, like Philadelphia Orchestra with Eugene Ormandy directing. I think those are the best recordings of Bach, period. And what's really cool about this, and I think what set me on the path of being a weirdo, is it had a couple selections of the Wendy Carlos Switched on Bach, which I have
great
record
album.
of. Yeah, it's a tremendous album, and it's
fantastic.
Like I just loved it because it showed you that you know, classical music, Baroque music, anything in like kind of the Western canon, it's not just like this dead static thing. You can still breathe new life into it, and playing Bach, playing counterpoint on a Moog synthesizer was a brilliant move. It sounds incredible, and it really, I think, kind of showed people that stuff is still, in fact, living. You know, it's not strictly dead white man music.
Not just living, but vital, I would add. Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
And the beautiful thing about it was it also made it mainstream, which a lot of people forget as well. You know, popular music at that time, you didn't have a whole lot of options. Not every town in the nation had a classical music station on their FM radio.
That's right.
Right. Kind of wild to think about now, but yeah, absolutely.
It is, but I'm an old man.
we, Vinny.
Yeah.
And Collin, are you a fan of the Clockwork Orange soundtrack? I mean, just in speaking of Wendy Carlos.
Yeah, I am. It was a while before I was exposed to that, but again, I think those are really nice Beethoven interpretations on there.
Modern renditions, kind of in that same way, using synth, because it seems like synth was utilized the best by classical music. It took a while for rock and roll people to really figure it out. Once they did, it was, you know what I mean? But
yeah,
I think classical people were able to utilize it and assimilate a lot of, because that music's so complicated, Collin, and as you know, and as Vinny asked you before too, so delve into a little bit more about how you got started with your fingers on the ivories.
Oh yeah. So my mom played a little bit of keyboards. We had an old Casio keyboard in the house, which I loved messing around with. Dimitri wants to be on the show.
Okay. Hi, Dimitri. We always break for animals, right, Vin?
Other family.
Yeah. So I started before it's funny. I have this memory of having some family friends over to the house, and I remember one of the guys, but I was a really little kid, probably like 3 or 4, and one of our friends was like, "Oh, do you play piano?" I was like, "Yeah." I just I didn't know how to play piano. I knew how to make noise on the Casio, and then I think probably I started taking piano lessons when I was around 8 or 9 years old, and I also started singing in children's choir around the same time
Oh,
also. So
okay.
yeah, I kind of started off doing more classical music when I was younger. It was kind of a circuitous path back to discovering that
And it's
playing right.
interesting. It's interesting, Colin, as well, because we've had a lot of people who tickle the ivories, as Greno says, and they all start at 4, 5, 6 years quicker on the learning path than, say, the guitar players and the drummers do. But you're the first person that actually mentioned vocals, being in a choir, and and how important that truly is.
Yes.
Take it from somebody who never did that and pays the price for it now. How did you find that helped your work to this day?
It's kind of just incalculable influence, I'd say. Like it's weird because I'm not really a huge fan. Like I'm not trying to be disrespectful to like classical vocal technique or people who teach voice lessons. They're very, very talented at what they do. The one issue I take with that is I've heard a lot of people go in with very unique voices, and then they go to college, they take vocal lessons, whatever, for 4 years. They come out sounding like every other soprano, every other tenor that I've heard. And there's something, I don't know, I think kind of the whole point is you have your unique voice that you should be expressing yourself with. Now, that said, singing in the choirs was great for me because I feel like I can, if I'm just singing on my own, I can kind of use my own voice. But that taught me how to harmonize with pretty much anybody, and that's invaluable. And just the knowledge of music theory that comes with having to learn to read music and doing choral music, that's all been completely invaluable. I don't like it. It's hard to even really speak of how influential that is because I can't even comprehend existing outside of that in a way.
Wow, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
I'm always Collin, just in working with you, Collin and I, for our viewers, give you a little background, worked in a couple bands now together and worked together in a musical capacity for at least 5 years, and I'm always amazed at the harmonies and the vocal lines that you come up with for your songs. You put a lot of care and thought into it, and I think this new album is a real testament to that. And I think I told you too, I always like to throw around influences because we all work together, and that it's like Vinny might tell me it sounds a little like this or this, and doesn't ever be negative from each other, even if it's an influence that we weren't thinking of or considered. But there's definitely a Bowie overriding kind of sense on this record. And I hope you take that as the ultimate compliment. I'm not going to talk about Judy though, Collin.
Yeah, no, Bowie's the greatest. That's wonderful.
Little Twin Peaks for you people. So
yeah,
but go ahead, Collin. Yeah, it's Bowie. I know it's an influence, but talk about maybe even just the first Bowie stuff that you really enjoyed and how it kind of had some resonance.
I'm trying to remember. Actually, there is kind of a funny thing going slightly sideways from Bowie. Another thing I remember hearing a lot when I was a kid was Roy Orbison, and I have this is kind of a corny looking cover. This is a compilation. This is just kind of a greatest hits thing that came out.
It's a fantastic 80s. CD, actually, right? Corny cover or not, you're right. It's got everything on it.
And what's so funny about it is the version of In Dreams is the one that had David Lynch's production hand along with T-Bone Burnett. So
that's awesome.
We got David Lynch, we got T-Bone Burnett, we got Roy Orbison. David Bowie is 1 degree separated, and that's kind of that really sums up a lot of my kind of most core musical instincts. I can't really remember when I first heard Bowie. I probably just heard like Space Oddity on the radio or something, but I've always been totally captivated by him. I think I saw Labyrinth when I was a kid too.
What do you make of?
Yeah, 13 hours in which to complete the labyrinth. Good luck.
Yeah.
Vinny, you'll like this too. I don't know if you heard about this, but what do you think about Charlie Watts's comments about Bowie being not so good of a songwriter? He had a few good songs.
Yeah, ask Charlie Watts how many songs he wrote. You know.
Hey, man.
That is a funny comment coming from Charlie Watts almost.
Yeah. I thought you guys would enjoy that one.
Yeah, he gets excited about a great many things, doesn't he?
Oh, absolutely, Vinny. Great point. Wow. Right? He's polar opposite of Keith. Keith is so disinterested in music and, you know, musical culture and all that. And I mean, I know Charlie's always been like a big jazz. That's his roots. And he doesn't even have some solo stuff that he's done with jazz,
and blues bands and everything else.
Right, brother.
But you know, solo records in the Rolling Stones, they don't do it for me. Sorry, you know. What
was Mick's first song?
She's the Boss.
She's the Boss, and it's a picture of a girl laying on a bed. And
yeah, it's Jerry Hall actually.
Okay, yeah, not just a girl. Yeah, it's Jerry.
Terrible album. Now both his albums sucked. Keith's first album was really good. The second one was okay. The last one I didn't really care for, but you know, Collin, I hear a lot of Bowie in your work as well, but I also hear a lot of Mark Bolan, which I really dig, because not only is he's very much in that Bowie camp, but at the same time also very, very much more the free spirit than any of those guys in that genre, in my opinion. A true Renaissance man, hippie, you know, English gentleman type.
Yeah.
And he rocked.
Yeah,
more than anything else, as you do, Collin.
Thank you. That's very cool of you to say. I've never, like, Bowie is pretty obvious. Like that's always kind of swimming around my head. I love Mark Bolan, but I've never sat down and said like, oh, I want to write a T-Rex type song. So that's it. Really interesting that you say that. That's very cool to hear. And I really like the I really like the
great point, Vinny. Yeah, a very astute observation by our boy Vinny G in his new pad.
Nice. Yeah.
I'm so happy for Vinny. He's in the new pad. Just so you guys know, it's 5:20, and that means that we are on the Sunday Spin with Collin Estes today. We're having a great show. It's the what did you say today is? I just know it is the day after Halloween.
All Saints Day.
All Saints Day. Okay. Yeah. And did everyone have a good Halloween?
Uneventful. Fell asleep early. Watched Spin the Pot, went to bed.
You starred, baby. You started.
Spin the Pot, went to bed.
I had my sister and Vinny on my show last night. But speaking of Halloween. So I know, Collin, like you, I know this is a band that you kind of adore, and I know that I know you've done some cover songs, Hybrid Moments, and with your band Menagerie. But do you guys know anything about this single, like how rare it is? Can I tell a quick story? Can I tell a quick story?
Please.
Quick story to you? Okay. So I was 12 years old, and I was in Silver Spring, Maryland. And I looked up in Maximum Rock and Roll, like there was this record store that made my grandmother drive me there, and I bought this on a whim. I had two other things in my hand. I had the Flex Your Head compilation and Faith EP, first EP on Discord, blue vinyl. And right up at the little counter there, this cool little record store, I don't know what it was called. This is like 1982, and this was sitting there, and it was $3. This sucker's worth a couple $100 now, like all Misfits stuff. But the cool thing about it is you never would have seen this on the West Coast ever. All that stuff was pretty much East Coast distribution. Yeah. It's Halloween 1, and then Halloween 2 with the words to Halloween 2 are funny. Formulae uterus. Exorcismorum, excommunicationum. But I wanted to share that with you because I know that you guys are both fans. And that's also a shout out to the 64. A lot of Misfits fans growing up. And but yeah, that's a precious. I love how records like that have a story that go with them. And this is something that no matter how much it's worth, you guys know I'll never sell it. But yeah, and a lot of fakes too out there. So you got to beware and stuff. The only real problem, if you want to geek out, it's got a slight pinhole if you see right at the top there.
I don't see it.
Where your boy hung it up, thought, oh, I'll be cool and stuff. And then
it was cool.
Scary records behind me too, right, guys? Or at least that one.
Funhouse is pretty scary, yeah.
Is this a horrific record or what?
That's
only in the best of ways.
Yes.
Oh, yes, Vinny. No, I mean, oh, whoops. And you guys have got the Halloween vinyl too. So, anyways,
Nice,
I'm sorry.
nice.
I just love you guys so much. I always like to share stuff. And
Well, I love that. I love the inside of the Funhouse album too, because Iggy's posing there like he's Jacqueline Smith or something, you know?
I know, it's so glam before glam. I love it. Or when glam just Iggy was everything.
Iggy was Iggy,
glam.
still is.
Yep.
Yeah, is. So about Stooges, what kind of influence have they had on you, Collin? Or just enjoyment of music? Their music?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of how I came to the Stooges. I think, yeah, I don't really remember. I think I was kind of aware of Iggy Pop being a person. There's probably about the same time I first started knowing about David Bowie. I probably heard of this mysterious gaunt freak, you know. He's got Iggy Pop on one side and he's got Klaus Nomi on the other side. It's just like, who are these guys,
Right?
And the Stooges are terrific. Ron Ashton is such a criminally underrated guitar player. Just man, what a talent.
Brother Scott on the drum ain't no slouch either.
Not one bit.
And a quick shout out to Brother Rock. Last week we had Brian and Scott Hilbert on. Great guests, also fans of the show. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to Sunday Spin. We've had such a tremendously, what's the word, Vinny? Humbling response from people.
Gratifying, unexpected. Very, very, very positive. And we didn't do this for any other reason, really, and I'm sure Gren will back me up on this. We didn't start this show for any other reason except to talk about what we love with people we love.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it does come a little bit unexpected, and we're tremendously, tremendously thankful more than anything else.
Shout out.
And it's all about our guests, too.
Yeah.
Tonight's no exception.
Man, all the kudos you guys are getting are richly earned. This is a great show. Thanks again for having me.
Oh, thank you, man. It's such a treat to have you, Collin. And just so people know, Collin's a multifaceted Renaissance type of guy. This guy makes videos and edits film. He's an accomplished writer. He just has been writing a column for the Independent here in Colorado Springs for a number of years. He just passed the torch and all that. But Collin, so many things going on, music and all this. How do you fit it all into such, and you have a partner that you create music with, and hello, Aaron, love you. And just, it's a family affair. And look, Dimitri's behind you.
Yeah, Dimitri is.
So how does family play into, I know, playing on your records and playing in bands with you and doing all that? Is that just something that just feels so natural to you?
It really does. And I think it's just when you're in a great situation like that, like Aaron and I feel like we really bring out the best in each other, and that includes
absolutely
like creativity and ideas, having ideas, honing ideas, just like it's wonderful. I don't think any of these past few records would have even happened if I weren't around the people that I'm around. So
yeah.
And of course, goes without saying, Erin sings on, I think she's sung on all the records I put out. Owen played guitar on this last one. I played
Love you, Owen.
with him. Yeah, he's out there. He's out there somewhere.
We love you, Owie. Yeah, Owen's a great musician, a great guy.
Not tremendous.
Just like Aaron. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
Indeed.
And
Dimitri's on the cover of the new album also.
Hey. Yeah, and a shout out to, I'm sure, Brock, the man that worked on.
Yes.
He's our resident genius with the graphic stuff. This guy, it's incredible what he does, puts together every week. I know we're all impressed with that.
Yeah, it's mastermind. What an artist.
Absolutely.
And so giving with his art. Like he's about doing it right away.
That's the cool part about him.
There's a sense of urgency there. And I really, as you guys know, with music, that's extremely rare. And not cutting down the folks that make music and all that, but it's a slow-going beast. And the more people you have involved with a certain project, oftentimes it takes a lot more time for it to, come together and things like that. But I really appreciate him. Anytime you have an idea, I mean, he's got 10 things for you in like an hour, and you're like, whoa, it's overwhelming with
he's a tremendous example of the spirit of art.
Yes.
I don't think I could give him any higher compliment than that. That's what it's supposed to be about. And he could be the ambassador for it, in my opinion.
That's a great point. I'm really glad that you put that out there. Definitely. No, Collin, so you said 3 albums, but I know through the internal circles, as we used to joke about the suits at Anonymous Collective.
Yeah. They're at it again.
The suits, there's some world in the social media universe, Twitter, and Vinny has seen it too on Facebook and whatnot, about another album that's pretty much already written.
Yeah. Yeah, that might be.
Just playing with you, man. That might
be overstating it a bit, but yeah, the
those suits.
Yeah, they're at it again, folks.
Where's the next one?
Yeah.
They just want the money, man. Especially Anonymous Collective. You guys know they're greedy son of a bitches.
Well, that's it, man. It ain't easy at the top, right, G?
Know it, baby. Know it.
Yeah, when I was writing this last record, there was a lot of stuff I cut. After the kind of double album nonsense that that I decided to force on everyone, I thought I will take the revolutionary, groundbreaking approach of making a nice tight 45 minutes. Write some songs that are a little more streamlined, a little more care in the arrangements, basically making music that somebody might actually want to listen to. I don't know, I thought I'd give that a try for once. But so in the process of this, and I guess in the process of all the arranging and kind of, moving ideas around, there's, a lot of stuff also kept coming. So I haven't officially started recording anything, but there may well be another album out there. Now, I'm not like this other guy on Anonymous Collective. I think his name's Greeno. He puts out 5 albums a year. I don't know what that's all about. But
what? No, I don't know what this guy.
He's a conglomerate of about 10 different guys, to be honest with you.
We're going to do, on the 14th, got another one popping. And, I make music for you guys. It's just like you guys for us. I was telling a friend recently that compliments from my inner circle mean way more. And I don't, not disingenuous to those that I don't know and stuff. That means a hell of a lot too. But because people like you guys have followed, we follow what each other do, what each other have done. Last week we knew all about Ickben. We knew all about Upper Middle. Every guest that we have on, we're able to articulate about what they're doing, why they're doing it, and also why we're fans. And that's the cool thing. So when you get that back, it's a wonderful feeling. And I'm so excited for you guys to hear my new thing, because you guys influenced it. It wouldn't be what it is. And Collin, it's funny you talk about concise. It started with 14 songs. Now it's down to 9 songs, 28 minutes.
Yep.
28. Wow.
And I don't know if you saw the name. I dropped names. You know, it's got some Twin Peaks references. It's got I had a Dolly Parton reference. If you guys get a chance, Sunday Spin folks, if you get a chance, check out Here I Am. It's a documentary, I think 2016, about Dolly Parton. Unequivocally one of the most underrated songwriters. And because she's female and has big boobs, that's why. I hate to say it, because that's the first thing I knew about her before I ever knew about her music. As a child, it's like, what the hell? But once I learned the glory and the brilliance of this woman and the transparency of her song, like what she's basically the first like feminist in rock, you know, country and rock and roll without being that. She never pissed anybody off. She never, you know, it was like, so Collin, with that said, let's talk a little bit about, because lyrics are very important to you. So let's talk about audiences. And I know that you're a politically charged and influenced person. And I wouldn't go to venture to say as a fan that your music is politically influenced, but I wouldn't go to say that it's not, even with some of your titles and things like that.
No, that's not editing video.
So with that, So with that said, I don't know. Talk about your lyrics and how much care you really put them into them, brother. I really appreciate it, by the way.
Oh, sure. Thank you again. That's really nice of you to say.
It's true.
Yeah. Thank you.
We don't lie on Sundays, just so you know. Right, Vin? It's all from the heart, man.
Lyrics are incredible. I wish I had that kind of skill, you know? And I love what Collin said, too, about putting the heart into the lyrics, like you had mentioned, G, because I think sometimes, I know I'm guilty of it, you know? It's music first and then throw the lyrics in, and whatever works I'm going to roll with. And sometimes that, you know, the day to edit never comes.
Yeah.
And the lyrics are left lacking, frankly. So, yeah, I think Collin just said a mouthful about how important lyrics really are to the overall content.
The lyrics for me, it's kind of been like anything, it's kind of a journey of discovery for what works and what is meaningful. Like if you had asked me even like 5 years ago to like talk about my approach to lyrics and lyricists that I really admired, I would have said like Nick Cave would be like a big guy, David McComb from the Triffids, obviously Leonard Cohen, because he's like the dean, more or less, the poet laureate of both Montreal and rock and roll.
Right.
But so for a long time I was trying to do that like kind of hyper literary sense, and I always felt like I was a really lousy storyteller in that sense. So I was usually pretty frustrated with what I'd come up with lyrically. And recently, I kind of started taking, for example, the song "The Devil's Page," which is on the new album.
Great song.
Thank you. That song had a really weird entrance into this world, which is I had a dream that I was playing that song. Just there I am in the dream. I'm playing this song that I know that's called "The Devil's Page," even though it doesn't exist in the waking world. And I woke up and I was like, "Whoa, holy smokes!" So I started writing down everything I could remember from the dream. And it's kind of, I've been taking more of a kind of dreamlike approach to these things, not just being influenced by dreams themselves, but just when you have a dream, it can be this very intense emotional experience. And even if what's going on is very strange, it resonates with you at a very core level.
Yeah.
And then when you wake up and I'm like, "Hey, Glenn, I just had this dream where there's the guy with a glass face," and Glenn's like, "Shut up, what are you talking about?" It's very boring to talk about dreams, Collin. And
no, I wouldn't say that.
I'm just kidding. But that's the thing. You try to verbalize it and it kind of loses that power. So I thought, I think there's a lesson here in like editing and whatnot. Like sometimes the first impulse is not the worst impulse. And now I think it's good to kind of tidy things up a little bit, but I think there's something really magical about that first impulse. And when you take that approach, you know, I'll just kind of have these things pop into my mind. I don't know what I'm going to use them for. I'll write them down, and then it becomes apparent later. It's I guess it's kind of a David Lynch way of working. I think that's basically what he does. Like, it's astounding how well Twin Peaks holds up when I feel like most of it he did not know where it was going when he first had those ideas, but it's a remarkably cohesive piece of work. So that's kind of the approach I'm taking now. It's more about it's less like me thinking of myself as an author, as like master of the page, trying to bend that to my will. It's more like, okay, there are these ideas floating around like weird little spiritual entities. Like, let's see what they do. Let's see where we can put them and what they can do with each other. So
very Donovan-ish of you.
I love that. That's very good.
No, it's true though. It really is. There's a very whimsical, dreamlike quality to the latest material, and I mean that with all respect, because I find the new disc very, very soothing, very ethereal, if you will, for lack of a better word. The ambience on it comes to me as much as the music does, which is unexpected to say the least. It's a masterpiece, my friend. Well done.
Oh, thank you. That's too kind. Glenn was talking about like politics and how that works in, because I'm of course famously apolitical. I have no complaints about the material world or anything like that. Like, probably the most political song on this one is "Dressing Well" in 1987, and it's kind of, again, that's like kind of my attempt to kind of take material realities and material conditions and kind of filter it through that dream logic, which I think is something that happens a lot by people who do not have your good interests at heart. There's kind of a deliberate obfuscation going on there. So that's kind of, I don't know, I guess it was my attempt at applying their own disgusting.
Well, Ray Davies has been doing it for 50 years and making a lot of bank doing so. So there's you know, the sardonic edge, the critical edge, the ironic edge. Sometimes it works. You got to be careful though.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, isn't Ray Davies like a Tory now?
I had heard something like that. I guess if it's good enough for Paul Weller, it's good enough for Ray Davies, right?
Oh boy,
we're not political on this show, are we, G?
No, it's kind of like when we're close to Christmas, we'll be talking about like what albums we want and stuff, and it's undeniable. Like, there's an election in 2 days, and so
you can't avoid it.
Yeah, things are on people's minds. For me, I'm thinking about rock and roll and winning these damn parlays. I think the Broncos pulled it out, just so you guys know.
Really?
Bringing it all in today. We're even talking sports. I think it was 31-30 against the Chargers. But
oh wow.
But yeah, so just so people know, you are tuning in to the Sunday Spin. I'm Greno. We got Vinny G always at my right side. And then today, the beautiful man, the wonderfully talented keyboard rocking, like amazing keyboard stuff on this record too, Collin. And don't say thank you. There you go. Bless you. But we're hanging out with Collin Estes in a little bit, just so people know, for our viewers. Hi, Aaron. Oh, she snuck away. We love you, Aaron. In a few minutes, we're going to have our buddy from an earlier show, Mr. Eric Shaggy Collin, Rick's Corner. And it's going to be, Vinny, what's this Rick's Corner thing? You going to hang out with Rick on the corner?
You know, Rick's Corner is going to be a corner full of Rick, I would imagine. So I think he's going to have some records for us. Be shocked if he doesn't. Maybe some knock-knock jokes. Who knows?
Collin, do you have any records you want to show us? And Collin, we're going to take as much time as you need, my brother. The show is never scripted on. We like to go an hour, but we've famously gone over an hour just because we get rocking. and we get
Well, we know
rolling.
Tony Russo.
We get creative. Yes,
Yeah.
that too. We're gonna sit,
Hey,
Vinny. We'll sit there and
We'll sit there and stay as long as we want. Yeah. Ask
I
as
have,
many questions as we damn well
I have this
please.
record that matches my shirt somehow.
There you go.
Oh, love it, love it.
I don't
Great
really
album.
have that much to say about Hounds of Love. That's a terrific record. That was kind of my entry point into the magnificent Kate Bush, and it's probably still my favorite. Like the I saw a pretty nice meme the other day. Somebody had like there's like a pink, like very frilly looking building next to a very stark and brutalist kind of black building, and the pink one said Hounds of Love and the black one said The Ninth Wave, which is if you out there in radio land have not heard Hounds of Love, you're going to want to check that out. There's that. Yep, that's delightful as well. But yeah, The Ninth Wave is the second half of Hounds of Love, and it is again very dreamlike, very ethereal, very dark, a masterful work.
Colin, what about this album and Mr. David Gilmour on the bass?
Yeah, that's always been kind of amusing to me. He pretty much discovered her, right? I mean,
No, they like hung out. Yeah, they're probably friends to this day.
yeah, that was.
Yeah,
I'm not wild about that narrative of David Gilmour discovering Kate Bush. Kate Bush she's a force of nature. She's going to reveal herself when the time comes.
Maybe
You like to do that. I mean, it's the same with Diana Ross discovering Michael Jackson. Man, Diana Ross didn't discover Michael Jackson. Come on.
That is pretty funny to think about that. Let's see. I do have some records here. I have no plan of attack for how I'm going to talk about them or anything.
Free flow, baby. That's how we do it on the spin.
Okay. Well, first off, I have kind of a mass here. I was rewatching the show you guys did with Kevin, where he was talking about some of his memorable record buying experiences, and I very briefly worked at Independent Records, and there was one day that something rather extraordinary happened. I'm kicking myself that I didn't buy a particular thing that came in, but this gentleman came in, clearly like a military guy, and he had this big stack of records. And he set them down. I started kind of thumbing through them, and among them you will see
Wow.
this delightful collection. We have the 12-inch single for Lagartija Nick, which is a very cool Bauhaus song, kind of an underrated one.
Love Bauhaus.
We have Susie and the Banshees,
God.
Nocturne.
Epic.
For those of you who don't know, this one I particularly like. It's a live record, and it has Robert Smith from The Cure playing guitar.
Yeah.
Because John McGough, however you pronounce his name, he was not around. He was in Magazine too, right? Magazine and Susie and the Banshees.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, awesome guitarist. But obviously, I'm not going to complain about Robert Smith. I love The Cure.
Yeah.
But this guy had. Oh, and he also had another one I bought from his collection was the Cocteau Twins, that kind of early compilation, the Pink Opaque, I believe it's called.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
CJ is borrowing that one right now, so I just.
Oh, CJ's got to delve into the 4AD universe if he hasn't already.
But this guy had the original Bela Lugosi's Dead single, and I didn't buy it because I was like, I don't want to spend all my money in my entire Independent Records paycheck in one day of working for the company. But I'm kicking myself.
Yeah, you can't pay the rent with Cure Records, can you?
Alas, yeah, too bad.
Oh man, that's so great.
Yeah. So let's see, what else do we have here?
Yeah, keep going.
Let's see. I went to Ernest Tubbs record shop in Nashville, which is a very small little
great
place.
store. Yes,
it's a cool place. It has that. I don't know if it's there all the time, but they had the pedal steel guitar that I think the guy's name is like Pete Lee or something. He's the guy who ran the talk box through the the pedal steel, and he had that weird song where he's like, basically being Peter Frampton through a pedal steel guitar, which is just a real freak move. I like it. But when I was there, I picked up had this old it's
Son.
I don't think I can't go wrong with Sun, but we got Roy Orbison doing a Johnny Cash song, so that's pretty good.
Collin, I'll tell you, the first time I went to E.T.'s store, the pedal steel was there as well. I don't remember the talk box, but I do remember the pedal steel. I remember the guitars hanging. Believe it or not, I bought Roy Orbison's Ooby Dooby 75
Wonderful.
at the same store 4 years ago. Yeah, I had to have it. The girl I was living with at the time was a big Orbison fan, never heard Ooby Dooby.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. Had to educate, man. What a single.
Great.
What a single.
Yeah, that's terrific. Oh man. Roy, I guess kind of to circle back to the early influences and stuff. I like Roy Orbison is probably like the first rock music I heard, and that's a great place to go in because it's just beautiful. I always loved how he stuff like Running Scared, there's like it's just through composition. He liked like Puccini, like romantic era opera stuff. So he just did like in like music theory class, they call it through composition, where you don't repeat any segments. It's just, moving ahead, constantly changing. I think that's really wonderful stuff. And here's my visual aid for the Beatles. So it's just wonderful to look at, isn't it? The Beatles, I think kind of my journey into playing and getting interested into rock stuff is, as I said, I was taking piano lessons and singing in choirs, so there was a lot of classical stuff in there, but I started going through my parents' record collection and just kind of getting interested in that sort of thing. I remember the Alan Parsons Project album, Ammonia Avenue, that has such a weird cover.
Don't answer. My friend and I, Rob, love Don't Answer Me. Shout out to Rob real quick. Our buddy Fez Recker had a birthday a couple days ago. Thanks for mentioning that, Collin. Yeah, go ahead. I just get so excited. Yeah.
So I just started listening to stuff like that. They had a lot of like Cream and Eric Clapton and stuff like that. That great. I still love that Jackson Browne record. They had it's the really popular one that like a lot of it is live recordings, and so there are a couple songs that they recorded in
I forget the name
hotel
of it.
rooms, but that one, the one that everybody has pretty much. That sort of stuff. And then when I was a kind of early teenager, I discovered the Beatles, and I think that's the moment where I realized, like, okay, that you can do rock music and execute it because I was never like a purist about classical music or anything, but it just dawned on me in a very visceral way that like, oh, this can be like capital A art, this sort of thing. So, and that's pretty much where I've been ever since, is trying to follow in those large footsteps.
Mm-hmm. And is there an album of their material that really set it off for you that's a personal favorite? I speak as a guitar player, and I'm very, very partial to really like that small window from 66 to 68, from about right after I Feel Fine up to the White Album, is just the dead solid Revolver, Sgt. Pepper, Maybe You're a Rich Man. But it also signifies the introduction of the classical quote unquote instruments that you really didn't get from the Beatles, with the exception of Yesterday maybe, on a whole lot of numbers. So I would guess it would just be a guess, but a later album for you.
Yeah, I think the White Album, I mean, I love all of them, but the White Album is really what did it for me. And it was mostly just the unfettered experimentation that they were doing. It's like, oh, you can write a terrible song called Obla Di Obla Da and put it on your record. It's fine.
And play all the instruments on it. Paul played a lot of drums on that. Ringo left during the White Album. So Paul's on drums probably like on half a dozen songs, if not more.
Yeah, I mean, it has some just like some bulletproof kind of songs like Dear Prudence comes to mind. I'm So Tired, stuff like that. That's just like would be great on anything. But I love that it's kind of a mess. Like it has Wild Honey Pie on it, which I like better than Obla Di Obla Da.
Yeah, don't pass me by. It's kind of all over the place, isn't it?
I like Long,
It really
Long.
is. And
Oh yeah.
Long is like so like, oh, it's eerie and just it's gorgeous.
it's also very cool that you get really as close to equal contribution from the members on the White Album.
Mm-hmm.
Revolver, you've got 3 Harrison songs, which is my favorite Beatles album because, long overdue for George, in my opinion. Nailed it. Best 3 songs on the album are Harrison songs. But with the White Album, really, everybody kind of had a hand in it. You don't get that again, unfortunately. So it's a great timepiece. Excellent answer, Collin.
Yeah.
Collin, we're about 5 minutes from being an hour. We don't want to take too much of your time. We want to bring in Rick here in a second. But before we do that, let's let people know how they can find your music. I know how. Danny knows how.
You know how.
But let's let them know how.
Well, you guys probably know better than me at this point. Right now, I will have CDs soon. They're not finished just yet, but for the time being, you can go to my Bandcamp, which I believe is bandcamp.Collin Estes.
No, collinestes.bandcamp.com.
Okay,
You're right. I did know it better than you.
Yeah, well, that's why you get the big bucks.
That's why he's Greno. That's why he's the media right.
Heavy lifting, baby. Heavy lifting.
So, and pretty soon I will have some CDs of this album, and they will be available at What's Left Records and also through the Bandcamp and maybe a couple other places, I don't know. But yeah, for the time being, that's it. And I will, by the time I have CDs of that out, I will also have I've been working on a little bit of a kind of decade compilation that it's a, I don't want to say it's a best of, it's a least worst.
the least worst, I love it.
It's got some stuff that's never been heard on it. I just thought it would be nice to have that if we ever play shows again. That might be a nice thing to have. But that'll be, and I'll probably put that just digitally. I'll probably just put it up for free on Bandcamp, and you can get a CD if you want, that kind of thing. So
you heard it here first, people.
Yeah.
Free music from Collin Estes. How you gonna go wrong, right?
That's right. And like Collin said, you can find his new album, which is on the Anonymous Collective label at collinestes.bandcamp.com. Hang out at our Facebook page, Sunday Spin Facebook page. We also have Anonymous Collective page with stuff coming out too. Guys, Skinny Mulligans, some new Greno. We got this Collaborations from Home project with like 30 different artists. I think you guys know something about that. We'll talk about that in the future. But right now, let's bring in, and Collin, you want to hang out. I know you want to have fun with Mr. Ricky.
Oh, yeah.
So we're going to make it a 4-square, and we're going to bring in our buddy, Mr. Eric Cullen, and he's going to do Rick's Corner. He's going to talk about some albums that he likes. So let's get him joined up here in a second. And, you've been hanging out on the Sunday Spin. There's our boy.
Live from the corner, it's Rick.
Woohoo! So we'll ask to unmute. Let's see.
Looking sharp, buddy.
What's up?
How are things in the corner? What you got for us?
Rick's Corner. Yeah, thanks. You guys got to come up with some theme music for me, though.
Oh, I got it. I got it.
I was thinking of something along the lines of like Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
How about Mr. Robinson's Neighborhood? Remember that with Eddie Murphy?
Yeah.
This is how you answer a door, boys and girls.
That's right, exactly. That's the landlord.
I got one for you. You remember the Lowenbrow commercials?
Here's to good
friends. Tonight is kind of special. The beer we pour is Rick's Corner.
I love it.
Yeah. Oh, cool. All right.
How about Carefree Gum? Feeling good about yourself. Feeling Rick's Corner.
Yeah.
Double your pleasure or triple your pleasure with Rick's Corner, man.
Right.
All right. Awesome.
So I got some vinyl picks here for you.
Okay.
I how much time we got?
As much as you need. This is
Oh,
show
man.
business. You're on the Sunday Spin. Vinny and I are at the controls, baby. You're
We don't wear no stinking badges.
cruising about 3,000 feet right now, and we got the Mile High Special, baby. So you just do your thing.
Okay. Well, I thought I'd talk a little bit about
Rick,
sound.
we're out of time.
Womp womp.
Wah, wah.
Just kidding, buddy. Go ahead.
Victor got all obsessed with the losing song in Price is Right.
Boom, 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 boom.
He played that over and over and over. Okay, so I wanted to talk a little. You know, mostly I want to use Rick's Corner to talk about new music that's coming out. And since this is the first installment, I thought we'd backtrack a little to 2019. I don't know about you guys, but I thought 2019 was an absolute stellar year in music. One of the best that I remember in a long time. And there was just so many good releases. I don't know. Maybe you guys have a different take on it, but that's how I feel about it. So I thought I'd bring out a couple things that I really enjoyed last year. Probably number one for me is this album by Barry called Happy to Be Here. They're a really great band out of Brooklyn. So debut album came out in like March, I think, of this year. Excuse me, 2019, right? We're talking 2019. Came out in March of 2019. They're kind of like, I don't know, kind of sunshine pop, I think of them. So I was going to play a little snippet here, a song called Hutch.
Fire away, bro.
Let me know if the sound is okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Nice.
Nice, very nice. Yeah, it is sunshiny.
Yep.
Yes, very
Yes,
sunshiny.
it has an early '70s vibe to it.
Uh-huh.
How
Yeah,
about
and even
the
the
cover.
a bit
cover.
of Ivy, the band Ivy too.
Yes, Ivy, sure. The cover too kind of reminds me of the '70s a little bit. Partridge Family, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely.
But they're
Cal
not as
Sills.
bubblegummy as Partridge Family. Let's see what else came. Oh, probably next on my list here is another kind of pop album by this guy Benny Sings, and he's out of Amsterdam.
Oh.
He's kind of a producer, songwriter kind of guy. Apparently he's put out like a bunch of albums. I think this is like his 6th album or something, but it's the first time I'd heard of him. Oopsie. Look, I'm taking the vinyl out like I'm going to throw it on the turntable here for you, which I am. No.
Never a dull moment on Sunday Spin, baby.
Anyway, I've
Never a
been
dull
getting this.
moment.
Yeah, I've been getting into this kind of a little bit of this kind of pop stuff. And what I really like about this is the quality of the sound quality of it. I mean, besides being a good song, it has this really clean, like crisp sound. I don't know if that'll translate very well over the Zoomer here, but let's see. Let's give it a listen. But everything is real crisp to me. It's like real, like there's no reverb on it. You know, it's just all like really sharp.
If we are lost to find my way, keep my head up, you know what they say. Don't forget all we get.
Little Michael Franks there.
Yeah, yes.
Yep, there he is.
Guilty pleasure. What's that?
All right.
Eggplant song he's got. Oh my god. Oh, it's regrettably infectious and good.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Okay, what else from 2019? Oh, one more. A couple more here. The Who. H.U. The Who.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
Not Pete Townsend and Roger Daltrey, but The Who in
Yeah.
Mongolia.
Yeah.
Well, they're the two now anyway.
What's that?
I said the Who are the two now anyway, so.
Is that right?
Who are the two? Vinny.
Yeah, the
Much,
Who from
man.
Mongolia. So these guys are kind of what you call folk metal. You can see they're really into the whole like Mongolian warrior thing.
I've actually heard quite a bit of these guys on the old XM on the drives this summer, and I concur, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, very interesting group.
Oh, that's all.
Yeah,
Good shout out, Vin.
Yeah. They're young guys. They're like in their 20s, from Mongolia. They're actually the first band ever from Mongolia to make, like the charts, the Billboard or whatever it is.
Yeah, again, they made a big production on it on Sirius,
Yeah.
talking about, how big a splash they've been and how rare it is to get somebody from that corner of the world.
Mm-hmm.
Says a lot about the power of music, doesn't it, buddy?
That's for sure. And the fact that they can be heard, now, where even 10 years ago, 20 years ago, it would have been really hard.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
I bought this particular copy at Amoeba Records, by the way, in Berkeley,
Nice.
which you guys should know.
Yeah,
And
thanks
this-
for referencing record stores, all three of you today. You guys are awesome.
Right.
That's what it's all about, man.
Ooh,
That's why we're here.
That's
Well,
nice.
one of the reasons. Oh,
Yeah,
that's
I don't know
beautiful.
If you can see that, there's a dragon on there.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
It's one of those 3-sided records, Let me see if I can get the light just right. I don't know. Yeah, it's etched.
Kind of what you would expect a Saga album to look like from the 80s.
Saga. What was their hit? They had one hit.
Oh,
I remember. It was the album came out in like 84. I had it. It was like I got it from the Columbia. You know how you get the 10 albums?
Yeah.
You got the Wow Wow pick.
You guys ever order the 10 albums to someone else's house that didn't live there? And like, yeah. Columbia was, man, they lost millions on that.
Well, millions.
I'm old enough to remember having to actually tape the penny to the postcard and send it in.
I'm with you. I'm
shaking
right there
his
with
head,
you.
yeah.
All right, one more album from 2019, then we'll get to a couple new things. This is the album Junior by the band Corridor. These guys are from Montreal. And I had the chance to see them back in December, which was like the next to the penultimate time I saw live music.
Yeah.
Was seeing Corridor at the Milk Bar on Haight Street in the city.
Okay.
And they were just fantastic. They're another young band in their 20s, and they're doing like kind of a indie rock, but in, French.
Hey, Stereo Lab, baby.
That's
Meh
right.
indie rock.
Yeah, right indie rock. Exactly, Colin.
Yeah. Okay. How about some 2020 stuff? This so far is my favorite album of the year. It's called The Making of You. The band is Snow Goose, and they're from Scotland.
Cool.
They're kind of doing like a folk rock thing. The first thing I think of is Fairport Convention, but there's a lot more going on. I'll play a snippet of theirs. They also remind me a little bit of Stereo Lab here and there. See,
Nice.
This song called Hope. This is Snow Goose.
Cool.
Yeah.
Sparkle in the air to tease me outside and watch the window, understanding all the forces at play. At rest I found you.
Anyway, that's
Cool. Right on.
The first thing I noticed, Eric, and I want to thank you because that's really beautiful, but the tonal quality of the singer there,
yeah.
Marianne Faithfull, what do you think?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Very, very much
Vinny.
so, yes. Almost haunting,
Yeah.
in the delivery like Marianne's always been.
Right.
Epic choice. Wow. Very,
Her name
very,
is,
very cool.
Her name is Anna Sheard. And then it's her and the guitarist Jim McCulloch, who kind of are the main songwriters and leaders of the group.
Yeah. Very melancholy. I like it a lot.
Yeah, I really love this album. It's actually their second album. Their first album came out in 2012. So like 8 years between their first album and this album.
Yeah.
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 Cool, man.
Yeah. All right. So I'll do one more from 2020, and then I guess I'll see you guys next time.
Okay. Yeah, no, we appreciate you taking the time, man. It's great.
Yeah. So I showed you guys this album last time when we did my show on the Sunday Spin.
Yeah.
Edvig Molestad from Finland. And she's a fusion guitarist. I had told you she reminds me of some classic fusion style guitarists like Frank Zappa and Jeff Beck.
Yeah.
A little bit of shredder stuff, like Joe Satriani, but not too much. But she's jazz, so it's more like has those kinds of chord changes and stuff. But then she gets into this really just rocking stuff as well. So I'll play a song here called Sunday Spin. No, just kidding. It's called A Stone's Throw.
Hey, close enough. There'll be a Sunday Spin song. Eric, we're going to need you to.
Right. Just great technique and feel.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Really get what you're saying about the Jeff Beck inspired guitar there.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely mid-70s back at its finest, huh?
Yeah. And what interesting thing about this group is it's her, Hedvig Molestad on guitar, and then there's Susanna Santos Silva on trumpet, and Marte Eberson on piano. A couple other people. They're Finnish names, so I can't pronounce all of them. But basically, it's like 3 women and 3 men in the group, which is kind of cool.
Nice.
Definitely unusual for jazz, to see, especially jazz fusion, to see that type of.
They're like the Brady Kids.
Oh, man.
A sunshiny day.
Everybody.
I love the Brady Kids. I love their fusion work. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially when Bobby took over the composing duties. That was when it really took, when Greg finally realized he could only write a 2-chord folk song. And, when Bobby, so.
Yeah.
Mike
Lukenland. You guys like the Brady Bunch movie, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So when Johnny Bravo goes into the recording studio and that receptionist is there and he starts like serenading her with Jack's Beanstalk or whatever it is, dude, she's like, no, like turns around.
Oh man.
So, and that producer guy, he's like, "What is this? Beanstalks?"
Well, the funniest part about it was the producer was the actual Greg Brady from the TV show, if you recall.
Yeah, they tied it all together, baby.
Oh,
yeah, he's ripping on the guy for writing a song about clouds. Yeah.
Just like we do here on Sunday Spin. So, folks, you just been treated to the very first installment of Rick's Corner. So, Ricky, what I'd like to do next time is, I know you're a well-prepared person, let's get your picks ahead of time next time. That way people can look on our Sunday Spin page and get the information. It's a little hard to write stuff down during the show, but it'd be nice to have your picks up on our Sunday Spin Facebook page so people can reference those.
Absolutely. That's
and it also gives our audience the opportunity to make suggestions to Rick about what they might want to see him pulling from his bargain bin there.
Oh, booyah. Exactly.
Yeah. Well, that sounds great. thanks for having me, and I look forward to more installments.
You
Yeah,
bet.
absolutely.
And that Saga song, Greno, was On the Loose.
Yes.
Tonight I'm on the loose. I had to think of it.
Oh, it's great. And yeah, so we've been hanging out with the one and only Collin Estes, the Reverend, if you will.
It wouldn't be Sunday without the Reverend.
It's been a great show. So we're going to end it with Collin, one of the tunes from your new album. We're going to play Dressing Well in 1987. And we'll probably play, it's almost a 5-minute song. Probably won't play most of, the whole song.
Yeah.
But before we go, I want to say, Collin, thank you for being on the show. And also, I want to thank Collin for this very special album. Robin Hitchcock, which is a huge favorite of mine, came to town, and it was just literally as COVID just landed.
I think it was in March, right?
Yes, and I was supposed to go to the show with Collin. So I ended up, the last show that I ever saw, Rick, you were talking about the last show you saw, was actually Soul Asylum and Local H 2 weeks before that. But Collin was gracious enough to get this to me as a present, and it's signed by the one and only Robin Hitchcock.
Wow.
It's just, as you guys know, these are anything that your friends give to you are timeless and so treasured. So Collin, just thank you so much, my brother, for that. I have stuff in all my collection that all of you guys have given me. In fact, Rick, that Beethoven's Greatest Hits you gave me, oh man. So we were talking about Bach's Greatest Hits earlier, Eric. But yeah, also a shout out to our friend Rob. It was just his 50th birthday. A shout out to the Hilbert brothers who were on last week, Chris Marsteller, Kevin Carroll, Kevin Chanel, Eric Shaggy Cullen. You guys go check out the episode with him. It was awesome. He did such a great job. He's going to be hanging out with us, doing Rick's Corner. And Vinny, we got a couple next season, right? We have some new specials.
Yeah. We got to throw Tim Ellison into that mix, though, man.
I forgot.
And Feds Racker, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I always forget.
Yep, no worries. Yeah, absolutely. The first 10, man, out of the park, right? But again, it's all about the good people that are showing up to talk about their love of music every week.
Speaking of, got a shout out to the Ostro brothers. Again, What's Left Records closed right now because of just things that are going on in the world. We're going to get them back on their feet, happy, healing, and doing what they do best, is what's serving the community with good rock and roll and great vibes. So shout out to What's Left Records. Also, our sponsors up in San Francisco at Grooves Records. We love you, Kevin Chanel. And the Anonymous Collective, can't forget Estate Grown, baby.
Yeah.
So check out that. Yeah. Rick's got a new rock and roll outfit together, and we'll talk about that on your next meeting, which will probably be pretty soon here. But Collin, thank you so much. We got 2 keyboard players. We could start a band right here.
Yeah.
What am I going to play?
Keyboards.
No, we'll do the, what was the Herman Munster? Remember the bongo? What was Vinny, what was the poem? Herman's poem for the, remember the
Oh, yeah. Life is hard. Life is earnest. If you get cold, turn up the furnace.
Oh, with that, we're going to leave you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with us on Sunday Spin. My name is Greno G. I got my #1 right-hand man, Vinny G. We got 2 G's.
Freedom to rock is granted. Thank you, guys.
We love you guys. Collin Estes, thank you so much. You guys, stay safe, stay happy. Also, Rick and Vic. We're going to have Rick and Vic sometime.
And Vic.
Yeah, and Vic. Okay. But for now, Rick, we love you. Thanks for sharing with us today. And this is Dressing Well in 1987 from Mr. Collin Estes. You've been watching Sunday Spin. We'll be back next week.
Thank you.
I think Sun Ra's on next week. Yeah, we'll see you then. All right. Love you guys. Have a great rest of the weekend, and always take the under. See if this music works. Dun, 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 dun.